If the question, why is it so frustratingly difficult to find my next amazing girlfriend, ever crossed your mind, especially if you're a man in your 40s who's in a long relationship, then you're about to get some magic, because I'm going to crush this for you and I'm going to make it as short and powerful as possible to respect your time. So let's get into it. And if you stick with me to the end, I've got 2 special bonuses for you. So hit save on this one so you can always find it, and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming. The number one reason it's so frustratingly difficult is because you haven't yet figured out how to A, attract consistent multiple dating options, B, how to qualify the wrong women out, and C, convert the right women in. Now, I have completely simplified finding your next girlfriend into 3 pillars, and each one builds on the other. The pillars are attract, qualify, and convert. And in this video, we're looking specifically at the attract pillar. Master this and everything builds from there. Now, I hear a lot of men say, oh, dating's just a numbers game, in this disparaging way. They denigrate it like there's something wrong with that. But as men, we are logical, mathematical, process-driven, and born to take action. And if turning the art of finding your next girlfriend into a logical process, it requires mapping out the pillars and breaking down the maths. And maths means numbers. Now, I've calculated that on average in the US or Australia, there's a soulmate level person for you at a rate of around 1 in 300 people. It's not exact, it's just from my own experience measuring these things. So if you want to find your next soulmate, you might have to connect with around 300 new people. I've lived this multiple times, and the most obvious one is when I met my awesome woman, and we actually met through a dating app. And when I started looking for her, I received around 300 likes on my profile in 9 weeks. From that 300 likes, I matched with 150 women. From those 150 matches, I went on 29 new first dates over the 9 weeks. And from those 29 new first dates, I met my amazing girl. And we've created this incredible relationship with the kind of relationship qualities that most men have always dreamed of and desired, but rarely experienced for themselves. And if you never did a lot of dating in your past, maybe you met your ex in college and it happened pretty easy, or perhaps you met her through friends and it was just a stroke of luck. If you've never intentionally dated to find your dream woman, then this all might seem daunting. I get it. 29 new first dates seems like a lot, and frankly, it would be impossible if your process involves expensive dinners, big ideas, and a lot of investment from you. But I would sometimes do 3 or 4 dates in a single day. Simple, low pressure, cost effective. But let's keep on topic, and we will discuss that in a video about the convert pillar another time. So right now, your biggest bottleneck is volume. You don't have enough volume of new women to connect with. What most men are doing here is being passive. They are simply not really doing anything and just waiting for opportunities to come their way. It's an easy trap to fall into, because once we're in our 40s, life is busy, we're stretched, but by the same token, most of us don't have big social circles anymore. Not like we did in college days or going out partying like you're 22. There just aren't these easy, free-flowing opportunities to meet new women. And man, if you look at your current strategy, I hear men saying things like, oh, I'm just waiting for the right one to come along. Oh, I'm not really looking, but if one comes out, I won't rule it out. I'm just focusing on myself. I'm working on making more money. But none of these things actually move the needle. And here's why. What you're actually doing there, without realizing it, is thinking like a woman. That's the feminine strategy. Women wait, women are passive. Women improve themselves and let men come to them. And it works for women. For men, that's just a slow, invisible death of your dating life. And then when I tell men this, the next thing I hear is, well, I don't want to chase women. And that's where the confusion is. Taking action on a strategy to reach your goals is not chasing. Chasing is desperation. Action is strategy. It's creating opportunities. It's what men are built to do. Women are the passive sex. And the kind of woman you actually want is not approaching you. She's also waiting for the right one to come along. And before you cry, double standard, equal rights, etc., I get it. Feels unfair. But do you want the right woman, or are you after a tissue to cry in? Because it's one or the other. Now, assuming you want a woman, then what you need is a strategy by which you can get in front of a couple of hundred new women over a few months so you can attract your next soulmate. If you don't care if finding your next woman never happens or takes years or another decade, then this is not interesting for you. You can just keep waiting. But if you're hungry and understand age and time only go in one direction and never come back, this will make perfect sense. So let me show you the only 3 ways this can actually happen, and I promise you, by the time I'm done, you'll know exactly which one is your perfect play. If you dream of an amazing relationship where she supports you, pushes you, goes on adventure travel with you, has regular sex with you, does fitness, stays hot, eats healthy, brings peace, doesn't use your vulnerabilities against you, improves your social circle, helps with any kids, and generally makes life worth living. If you want that now and not in 10 years, then you need to get in front of the right women and lots of them. And there are only 3 ways to meet new women for dating. Number 1 is social circle. And to meet enough women to find your soulmate, you require a seriously active social circle that is not only large, but dynamic in the sense that new and single women are coming into it constantly. Okay, for example, I spoke to a 44-year-old movie production specialist. He works on new movie sets all the time, and he's got a constant influx of new women into his ecosystem that he's exposed to for relatively short periods of time. It's constantly changing. He told me this is the perfect way to meet women for dating, and I 100% agree. But if you're an entrepreneur or a plumber or an accountant, your experience will be vastly different. Your lifestyle and work simply doesn't expose you to fresh sources of new single women to meet. And at your stage of life, you just don't have time to foster and cultivate this large social circle because it takes away from your real work. Okay, the second way is cold approach. Lots of men fantasize about being able to walk up to the supermodel in the street or at the bar and suavely get her excited and get her number and take her on a date and charm her into his life. The harsh, brutal reality of cold approach is that it's a messy, bloody, and a massive grind and a numbers game. It takes hundreds, if not thousands, of approaches to even get somewhat comfortable, and even skilled men, they're not exactly getting a lucrative conversion rate onto dates. It takes constant effort, constant grind just to get good enough. And then the minute you stop is the minute you stop all results. And now, with those 2 scenarios, number 1 and 2, not being helpful for most men in their 40s, that leaves us with one final option. And it's the one that changed everything for me. Now, in my experience, as a single dad in his 40s who also runs a business but wanted to absolutely master women and dating and relationships, I tried social game, I tried social cold approach, and I got pretty good. But it was like a full-time second job. And then I discovered meeting women online. Now, because 90% of men actually suck at that, you'll hear men complaining everywhere how meeting women online is useless. In fact, the vast majority of society says dating apps are broken. And you know what that means? Opportunity, man. There are millions of women with dating profiles and social media profiles. It's just that the vast majority of men were never shown how to set one up and how to use one. And there's a small handful of men who decided to go in the trenches, figure it out, and write the instruction manual. I was one of those men. I spent years trying everything, and what I figured out is going to sound so simple and so obvious you're going to think I'm crazy. Here it is. If you don't have carefully crafted photos that do a specific job, your profile is dead in the water. Think about that. Your photos are 90 to 95% of the most critical infrastructure in your entire dating ecosystem. Now, a lot of guys think, oh, I need some professional shots, and they go and get some headshots that might work for LinkedIn. But when it comes to attraction, there's a very specific kind of photo that works, and everything else doesn't. So think about it. How much creative thought and strategy went into each and every photo you have online? How much? Because your profile is only as good as your weakest photo. And if you have photos up there that don't tick the right boxes and don't follow the narrow guidelines, how can you expect to get any results? A lot of guys think their dating app is broken or scammy because they pay a massive subscription and then they don't get any matches in return. Brother, a dating app isn't a woman vending machine. You can't put X dollars in and get X women out. The subscription is simply the cost of access. It's the quality of your profile that determines your results. I got better results with my free Tinder than 95% of men on earth who are paying $500 a year for platinum. But once I had a profile that worked on free, as soon as I jumped onto platinum, I was inundated with so many opportunities. I literally did not have time to talk to them all. I experienced what it's like on an app as a hot woman. And let me tell you, man, It's wild. It's a place you need to experience, and I'm going to show you how to get there. And for me, dialing in my profile is exactly how I found my amazing woman. 29 first dates in 9 weeks. She was number 19, by the way. And then there's Miguel, a favourite recent success story. Miguel, 53, his divorce settled and he'd fallen into one bad relationship, but after that, he was having almost no results on dating apps. I met him because he was trying to figure out how to build one of those ridiculous Miami-style Dan Bilzerian social circles and some influencer Instagram just to get a date. And when I showed him how simple it was to just use dating apps with the right photos, his barren Tinder exploded. His words were, "Tinder's the worst app for me, I never get a match on there." So I helped him edit some photos, choose the right ones, and he tested them on his worst app. The results were stunning. He got hundreds of matches, and even without learning the advanced texting strategy I teach as part of the Convert pillar, within a couple of weeks he'd gone on 5 first dates. He went on to have 4 months of the most insane dating life you could imagine, where he had to start using a spreadsheet to organise all the women and dates, and he had profile photos in his phone with cues reminding him who was who. After 4 months of going stupid, he's now settled down with a great girl who loves him like crazy. Imagine this, he was about to blow months, if not years, of time, money and energy trying to clone a Dan Bilzerian lifestyle, guns and jets and 300 18-year-old blondes, which is completely impractical and impossible for the busy 40-something single man who just wants one amazing woman. And the worst part, most men never realise how close they are to the simple answer because they're too busy chasing the wrong strategy. So here it is, the magic, the actual hot sauce of the attract pillar. What gets you from 0 dates to dating like attractive women do? Now, it's not just the photos, but they are around 90 to 95% of the heavy lifting. The mistake most men make is they just whack up what they think are the best pics without having any consideration for the customer. What you're going to want is a story arc of you told in around 6 to 9 pics. This story arc has to create intrigue, curiosity and excitement, and it has to stand out full stop. It has to avoid the common mistakes like driver's seat car selfies with sunnies on, multiple headshots, the kneeling with the dog pic, and gym mirror selfies. These are 100% turn-offs for 99% of women. We want our photo set to appeal to a wide range of women, a bit like casting a wide net in the ocean. The super trawler nets the entire catch, and then when it's dropped on the deck, it's sorted through and the best catch is kept. The rest is gently placed back in the ocean to find its way again. I see a lot of men trying to catch the one perfect fish instead of rounding up as many fish as possible and then choosing the best one. That's what the trawler does. That's the strategy. There's a hierarchy of elements in both overall photo set and each individual photo. One of the most important is authenticity. We have to ask ourselves, is this a natural, genuine snapshot of a real moment, or does it look staged and try hard? Because women can smell a posed photo from a mile away. The other critical element is what I call the what's in it for me factor. And at the dating app level, women are the shoppers and men are the commodity. So your photos aren't just pictures of you. They're a product on a shelf. And like any product, they have to appeal specifically to the buyer. That means understanding what your ideal woman is actually looking for, what excites her, and then presenting yourself in a way that speaks directly to that, naturally, authentically, without forcing it. Here's where many men get it completely wrong. I see guys putting up pics of something that impresses them. The big dead fish. Yes, it's impressive. Yes, that jump on your dirt bike makes the boys go, wow, and you love looking at it. But most of these things are completely meaningless to women. What you've actually done there is build a dating profile that attracts other men, and that's not the goal. Think about Hungry Jacks. They don't put photos on the menu of what the food actually looks like. They put up the dream version, the perfect bun, the sesame seeds spread just perfectly, the radiant, crisp, deep, rich green lettuce, the beef patty glistening. Does your burger look like that when it arrives? No, but it made you hungry enough to walk in and order. That's the job of your photos, not to show her exactly what she's getting, but to make her hungry enough to swipe right and find out. That photo of you with your sloppy hair, your sunnies, drinking a beer, it's just not going to cut it. Because every photo tells 1,000 words. The problem with that is that 1,000 words has to be constructed or imagined by the viewer. She is forming judgments of you based on the single frame in front of her. She's interpreting the photo. She's scanning it for clues, for signals, for signs. She's trying to answer questions she has or allay the fears that she has, many of which come from bad past experiences. And so if your profile in any way reminds her of a profile from a bad date outcome, she's automatically going to put you in that basket. She's going to think, here we go again. So many guys blame themselves. They think, I'm not attractive enough, or women just don't like me, or there must be something wrong with me. Or worse, they start to hate on women. But really, all it takes is honest feedback on your photos, and then make the changes so that women start noticing you and start feeling intrigued and compelled to engage with you. It's not rocket science. One of my favorite transformation success stories is Sal. Every man I've helped with this, I've showed them how to have their photos voted on by anonymous women online so that we can see what women really think of them. It's brutal, it's a slap in the face, and it can ruffle the ego, but it gives us a baseline. It shows us where we're going wrong. So when Sal put his original photos out to test, most of them came back as under 5 out of 10. And the worst one he had on the dating app was 3.2 out of 10. The numbers don't lie. The dating companies have released the data. Women only match with men who they perceive as a 7 out of 10 or higher. And so it was no wonder Sal was swiping into the void. As soon as Sal created a quality photo set that spoke precisely to his ideal woman, his photos started rating at a 9 out of 10 and higher. Think about that. He went from a 3 to a 9. It was an amazing transformation. Within a few weeks after that, he'd met Polly, and they were in a wonderful relationship to this day. He told me recently he's as happy as he's ever been. The reason I love Sal's story so much is that no matter what you look like or how old you are, Sal was 56 at the time and had been married for 20-something years, it's not you that gets rated on apps. It's the qualities of the photos and the information that they're conveying to the viewer. It's the story that the viewer is able to form in her imagination as to who you are as a man and whether you'd make a great potential boyfriend. She's literally making it up in her head. And so our job is to use the qualities and creative elements of the photos to guide and influence her imagination in the right direction so that she becomes curious and intrigued and excited about us. A lot of men in your situation who never really cared for taking photos or felt awkward being the center of attention or never even looked good in photos in the past, this feels scary. I know because that was me. And in fact, if I'm honest, it's why I wasted years on learning social circle game and cold approach, because I was secretly avoiding taking photos of myself. Every photo I saw of myself, I thought I looked terrible. Harsh truth, I did. And that's because I never cared about it. I didn't want the spotlight. But once I got past that, by deciding to become a man who owns the camera instead of hiding from it, it changed the game. Anyone can do it. After years of struggling to get dates from apps, I was suddenly inundated with more options than I could handle. I had to start rejecting women that I would have previously been stoked to match with. And once you hit this league, you start kicking the living crap out of yourself for wasting so many years hiding from the camera. So you can try cold approach, you can try social circle, but if you want the fastest, easiest, lowest pressure way to start finding your next amazing girlfriend with the least amount of frustration, then getting the right photos is the play. Now, guys, you've stayed with me and I have 2 very special bonuses. Bonus 1, I'm going to let you into my exclusive community and show you exactly how to get your own photos rated by anonymous women just like Sal did. That way you can see your actual score and you can understand precisely why you are or aren't getting matches. Bonus number 2, if you comment the word audit on this video, and then when you get private access to the community, I'll personally do a 5 to 10 minute video breakdown of your current photos. Every detail, precise customized feedback so you know exactly where you're going wrong and exactly what to fix. The community, it's called Magnetic Man Dating. It's on School and there are over 200 men in there already. The link is below. All right, now that you understand the attract pillar, you have the strategy to go from 0 dates to new dates each week and find your next amazing girlfriend in 90 days. But here's the thing, once you have options, most men make a critical mistake. They start investing time, energy, and emotion into the wrong women. And that's where it all falls apart again. In the next video, I'm breaking down the qualify pillar, how to filter fast, how to spot the right woman early, and make sure the women that you're pursuing are actually worth your time. So subscribe so you don't miss it, comment audit, and jump in the group if you want to actually move the needle. And I'll see you in the next one.